are now locked in and listening to The Issue.
This guy is a franchise quarterback, and no, I don't want to hear any pushback on that.
It feels like a top 10 roster to me. It feels like it can win a championship.
This is The Issue.
Yo, what's up? We are back. It is The Issue. Thursday, September 28th is what we're looking at. And we got another episode here for you today. We are getting further and further into the NFL season. Coming up on week 4, and week 3 action was kind of insane. Our splits were awesome. I won once again, 2-1 this week. It was a pretty good feeling. I was nervous as all hell for a little while on the Chargers-Vikings game, also our game of the week. It proved to be the game of the week for sure. It was very interesting. Came down to the wire.
T.J. Hawkinson defecated on himself on television.
We've seen a lot of that this year. We were talking about it before the show started, but we've just seen a lot of poor football play from singular players.
Yes, like singular players losing games for teams. Like, yeah. I have never seen so many in just 3 weeks. Kadarius Toney, T.J. Hawkinson, like so many singular people, like Brandon Staley the first 2 weeks of the season for the Chargers. Like, that just by themselves lose the football game. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
It was bad, but good on my behalf, so I'll take what I can get. Also, you know, the Steelers keep rolling. We were kind of right. We were definitely right about the Bears. There were a lot of hits this week, so we'll get to all that later in the show. But the setup for the show here, starting with Tim's rant like normal, this time on Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. If you're from Dallas, you're probably not going to like the first, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes of this show. It's going to be pretty rough for you, so buckle up.
I will say, like, I'm not gonna go full in on Dak, but yeah, you're still not gonna like it if you're a Cowboys fan.
No. And then hits and misses to round out the first segment there. In the second segment, we will have our Week 4 predictions and our Week 4 bets on a budget, like we always do. And then in the
2
third
straight winning weeks.
Yeah, in the third segment, news and game of the week to round things out here for the 205th episode of The Issue. But guys, we appreciate it. However you are joining us, watching or listening, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Amazon Prime Video, iTunes, and of course, iHeartRadio and the iHeartRadio app. You can find us anywhere. Just search The Issue.
Yeah, no, I've been we talked about Dak, and I'm not going to go, full in here criticizing Dak. I've been a Dak critic. I said he's good. He's above average slightly, but he's not great, right? People are putting him top 10, top 7. He's not that level quarterback. His career passer rating ranking is 17th in football. Like, let's be real here. I think this year it's like 15th. Like, that's exactly what he is. He's about the 16th best quarterback in football. People think, he's anywhere between 8 to 12. I think he's closer to anywhere between 14 and 17. So, that puts him, right about there. I've said Dak is good. I'd take him as my franchise quarterback. He's grown up. He's mature. For the most part, he's pretty durable. He can move okay, good enough arm, good enough accuracy, right, outside of last year and a little bit this year. Fairly mistake-free, doesn't throw a lot of picks. Again, last year aside, not special, but good, not great. That's where my issue was. He was never a top 10 quarterback, right? So, again, that's besides the point. Let's look at the numbers, though, when they ask Dak to be more than he is, right? Let's say, hey, Dak, we're trailing, the run game's not hitting, that the defense is on their heels, much like they were Sunday, right? Giving up, I think, like 6 yards a carry to James Conner in that offense. Josh Dobbs is running the football. Dak, in that situation, can you throw 35 times? Can you just get us back to the plane with a win? Doesn't have to be pretty. Can you get us back to Dallas with a win? We'll take it. His record throwing 35-plus times is 18-24. That's just the reality of the situation. If you add playoffs, he's 18-27 when throwing 35-plus times. Right, so, again, this seems like an anti-Dak rant. It's not an anti-Dak rant. It's an anti-Dallas coaching staff rant. Like, it's not like Dak's a young quarterback. It's not like Dak's Justin Fields, where they're kind of like still figuring out how to use him, or even Jalen Hurts, right, where, we've kind of established this identity. He's like a power running quarterback. We're gonna run him 12 times a game, some between the tackles, some on the edge. We're only gonna throw him like 27, 28 times a game. We're going to be physical at the line of scrimmage. He's going to run the football. He's going to attack the field. He's going to attack the defense, vertically with the passing game to complement that, right? They kind of had the identity last year with Shane Steichen. Well, then you pay him all this money, and you're like, well, we kind of don't want to run him in between the tackles because we just gave him like $260 million, right? And so they're kind of still figuring out how to use Jalen Hurts with the new contract, right? Finding a happy medium between doing what he's good at, running the football, and also, let's not put our franchise quarterback in harm's way if we don't have to, right? But that's not Dak. That's not the situation with Dak. He's been in the league, what is this, his 8th year? We know exactly what Dak is. We have these stats. We have this data, right? What's the website I'm on right here? I'll even shout it out. Let's see. Pro Football Reference. It's you could just Google it. It's a search engine. You could try it. I swear. It's Dak Prescott stats. It'll be the third link that pops up. This is public information, and I would imagine, hopefully, that NFL scouting and statistic departments have a little bit more access than me. Right? It's not hard to find these stats that say, hey, when it's all on Dak's shoulders, we don't do very well. Right? It's out there in the open. Again, public information. It's not Dak's fault. You would never be like, hey, Derek Carr, who, by the way, is 12th in football history in fourth quarter comebacks. Everybody hates Derek Carr, but he's I don't know, really good. Obviously, he got hurt this weekend, but that's besides the point. Nobody's like, hey, Derek Carr, go throw 40 times and expect us to win a lot. Nobody's like, hey, Jimmy G, we need you to throw 47 times today, and we're going to expect to win. That's not, even Brady in his prime. Good run game, good defense, a lot of underneath stuff, high percentage throws. 2 or 3 times a game, he'll take the shot down the field. We say this about Mahomes. 3 of his plays are special each game. The other 27 completions, checkdowns, screen passes, slants, quick outs, good, simple reads to get him in a rhythm and keep him successful. And Dak throwing, what did he throw, 40 times this weekend? That's not the key to success. That's not how it works. And I know, I don't think Ezekiel Elliott was the key to the offense. But I think having a physical bell cow back is what this offense needs. And I love Tony Pollard. But I think Tony Pollard's a really, really good complementary back. Out of the backfield, running some stretch plays, get him on the edge. He gets 18 touches a game, 5 catches, 13 carries. But you need that guy that can come in and give you 18 carries. I don't care if he only gets you 65 yards. You need somebody to take the pressure off of Dak. And right now, I don't think they have that. Like I said, I like Tony Pollard as a big play guy. But we need somebody that can run in between the tackles 18 times a game. So Dak doesn't have to throw 40 times a game. Because we can see, even when he only throws 35-plus times a game, 18 and 24. 18 and 27 if you include the playoffs. It's not Dak's fault. It's a product of the coaching staff and what Dak is. Again, he's not young. We know exactly what he is. These stats are public. You can go look at them. It took me 10 minutes to compile that win-loss total. It's not hard. It's a little bit baffling to me at this point that the coaching staff still believes that's a path to victory when we know that over the, extrapolate those stats, it's not a good path to victory, especially when you're already down, right? Dak's not going to lead you back from down 10, throwing, 47 times. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So it's not a anti-Dak rant. It's this is the reality of the situation, and they're choosing to neglect it, and it led to a loss this weekend, point blank.
Now, I'm going to play a little bit of the anti-Dak side, and we're going to see what you think about this here, because the one thing that's just brewing in my head is if you are Dak Prescott, you are supposed to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league, at least, maybe not one of the best quarterbacks, but at least above average, one of the better guys.
I still think he's above average.
But you cannot go out in the early season when you still have pretty much everybody healthy outside of some back-end guys on your defense, and lose to an Arizona team that is supposed to be tanking. That cannot happen. As one of the better quarterbacks in the league, I don't care if you have to throw 60 times in a game. I know the stats don't favor that. I get it. But you cannot lose to the Arizona Cardinals in week 3 of the NFL season when you were supposed to be one of the dark horses to come out of the NFC.
Hey, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I just don't think it's his. I don't think that's his fault. I think there was a severe game plan issue.
Yes, 100% there was. But you have to be able to do enough from the quarterback position where you can kind of shorten that, because there were a lot of drives where he made a lot of stupid mistakes. Dumb reads.
Oh, the interception in the red zone was bad.
Just dumb reads, bad throws. Like,
Look,
you have to have those kind of things.
I
and
agree.
it's not like Arizona has a great defense either by any stretch of the imagination.
Right, I agree. I think we can argue whether Dak's good enough or not, right? Like that's kind of what we're talking about here. Like he did not play well enough regardless of the game plan. But I think now at that point you're asking Dak to do something that he's not capable of, right? Like I'm not going to ask Jimmy G to go out there and give me 100+ rushing yards. Like asking Dak to overcome a bad game plan, no matter who the other team is, isn't in his wheelhouse. Mahomes can, which he doesn't have to because he's got Andy Reid. But like Mahomes can, Josh Allen can, Joe Burrow mostly can, right? Like Lamar can because he's just so dynamic. I don't think Dak is capable of saying, hey, here's the game plan. It doesn't favor me at all. I'm just still going to make it work. Like, I don't think that's in his wheelhouse.
I just think that's the problem, though. Like, if you want to be a competitive team that really has that edge, you have to have the quarterback that has that edge, that can overcome those things. Because right now, he just proved that he's more of a trailer than a truck. And that's
we've always said that, yeah.
So if you had to rank Dak right now, in the league, where would you put him about? We don't have to go, like, who's above him, who's below him. But, like, where generally do you think he fits in?
I mean, off the top of my head, 16th, 15th.
So just kind of right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. Yeah, super average quarterback.
Can you win a Super Bowl with that?
In the NFC, I think you can. Yeah.
The NFC, yeah.
Well, I think you can get to one. I don't know about win one.
Fair. I mean, but you have to have the right supporting
That
cast.
defense is really good. Like that defense. I mean, they didn't look good this weekend, but that's a good defense.
McCarthy, his seat's getting a little toasty.
And let's be real here. So, I mean, like, yeah, you know, you're not gonna have the better quarterback in the matchup with Jalen Hurts, but the only other team in the NFC that you have to really worry about is the Niners, and you go into the game with a better quarterback. You could argue who's playing better at that moment, but you know, experience, guile, right? Like Dak, you know.
I was just curious.
I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, guys, it's time. Hits and misses.
All right, hits and misses here in Pittsburgh on a beautiful Thursday. Let's get into it. All right, hit number one here. We've been a fairly pro Derek Carr show. He's like close to top 10 in the entire history of the National Football League for quarterbacks in fourth quarter comebacks, right? Yeah. He's a very, very good quarterback. I've always said that he was kind of the only thing good in Oakland or Vegas, you know, depending on where they were at, and he was always getting the blame for it. Mm-hmm. They're up 17. He's playing well. Offense is rolling. Now, granted, you know, they had the punt return touchdown, so it wasn't all the offense, but they were good enough to win the football game. He goes down while they're up 17, and they don't even score a point from there on out. They lose 18-17. That just proves the value of Derek Carr. I never said he's great, but Derek Carr's a very, very competent NFL quarterback, and he always gets the blame for seemingly no reason, in my opinion.
Yeah, not to mention, not only did they not score, but they didn't get back to the red zone without Derek Carr.
Well, they didn't. Well, they got kind of in field goal range there at the end, and the kicker decided to, you know, defecate all over himself and miss from 48. Now, granted, I would miss from 28, but I'm not an NFL kicker. So.
Right. I mean, you expect them to have those things, especially when you watch.
That's very makeable. I'd love to know. So I was throwing this out there. Wouldn't it be cool to have like this stat? You know how like in baseball they have the stat cast, like catch probability and stuff. Like, so, hey, based on where the center fielder's positioned, based on where this ball is hit, what launch angle, what exit velocity, you know, the dimensions of the park, what's the probability that that guy catches the ball?
Right.
They should do that for field goals.
They should.
Like before it even pops up, take the guy's history in terms of like, hey, how is he on 47-yard field goals in his career? Justin Tucker's kicked like 40 of them. Like, you have a good stat pool, right? Mm-hmm. How is he on that? What's the wind like? You know, what hash marks he on? Like, kind of take in all that into account and say, what's the probability he's going to make this kick? I think it's a good idea.
I mean,
it's an interesting idea.
They throw that up for like win probability in the middle of the game.
Yeah, why can't you do it for kick probability?
Exactly. I think
I'd love to know what that guy's kick, you know, percentage chance was.
Yeah.
Go on the road versus at home, you know, that could factor into it.
Absolutely, it could.
I just think it'd be interesting. But anyway, we digress. Derek Carr's a valuable quarterback, and that was proven this weekend. Mr. Number one here. I just keep fading the Steelers in my predictions, and I just keep getting screwed over because of it.
Fantastic.
Look, I don't know why I really faded them this weekend. The Raiders aren't a very good football team. That was dumb. But we've seen what the Browns defense does. Mm-hmm. Myles Garrett has been really good, and I hate Myles Garrett. I think, well, first of all, the play with Mason Rudolph was awful, and then also like the narrative that keeps getting pushed, like, oh, he's better than TJ Watt, He's better in precisely 0 stat categories since they both entered the league, so I don't understand where that narrative comes from. But nonetheless, he's been otherworldly in 2 of the 3 weeks this year. In the Steelers game, he decides to, we talk about people losing the game for their teams, decides to disappear. Like piss down his leg on national television. The entire Browns defense did, basically. That I will not apologize for. I will not apologize for fading the Steelers against the Browns. Like, they should have lost that game.
Sure, maybe, but
and I fade them again this week.
and it didn't work out for you again.
It didn't work out. Of course it did.
So now do you ride and stick with that and just keep getting burned by the Steelers and just keep let me
It depends
rack
if they're
up wins
it
and
depends
rack
if they're
up
in prime
wins
time or not. Because Kenny Pickett's 5-1 in prime time. 5-1 in prime time as a young quarterback is wildly impressive. That's like already better than Kirk Cousins.
It is better than Kirk Cousins.
That's like already better than Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Who are very good B to B plus quarterbacks.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't know. It just keeps screwing me. Whatever. Hit number 2 here. We may be able to like kind of chalk this up in this segment. We might be able to just throw like a permanent hit number 2 in here. The Bears are awful. I mean, they're terrible. And finally,
Honestly, yeah.
the fans are accepting it. Look, move on. They're going to draft a quarterback. Like, just accept it. Justin Fields is not good enough from the pocket. He's not even good enough as a runner anymore. He's not efficient. He's not seeing the field well. The coaching staff is in peril as well. The game plan doesn't look good. They're not winning enough games. But don't kid yourself. They're drafting another quarterback. This coach and GM tandem, this front office grouping didn't draft Justin Fields. They have no tie to him. They can go to that owner and say, hey, we didn't draft. We tried to do the best we could. We got him a really good weapon. We paid for money. We paid for guys on defense. We did everything we could, but he's just not good enough. You can sell that to an owner. We didn't draft him. We tried. It didn't work out. They will get another quarterback. He does not get another regime. He's done after this. This is it. He'll get another chance somewhere. He'll probably start 5 games. He'll suck in those games. He'll get benched a lot like Baker did in Carolina. And in his career, he'll be a backup or he'll be out of the league. I mean, he's not a good quarterback. He shouldn't. I don't personally even view him as an NFL quarterback backup. I think he's the 60 to 65th best quarterback in football. I really, really mean it. I would take Gardner Minshew over him. I would take Marcus Mariota over him. I would take Mitch Trubisky over him.
He's been really bad.
I don't think he's a good quarterback. So they're going to move on. They're going to draft a quarterback.
So did you see that video? A couple of the Bears fans. I've seen a bunch of different ones, honestly. The jersey burning ceremony of the Justin Fields jerseys.
I don't think they're crazy.
It seems like everybody in Chicago is now out on Justin Fields, and that has been evident on our YouTube channel as well. I mean, this past week, we had your rant on Justin Fields that was posted, and the amount of support from Bears fans on getting rid of Justin Fields.
They're done.
Insane.
They're done.
Because at the beginning of the season, we got so much pushback.
Oh,
everybody was all over.
He's an MVP level player.
Yeah.
It's his team. No, it's not.
No, it's Justin Fields.
It's him. It's him.
It's unequivocally Justin Fields.
Yeah, no, I'm watching film. There are guys open everywhere. Everywhere.
He had 4 guys open on one play.
Everywhere.
Couldn't make a freaking throw.
Yeah.
So.
Missed number 2 here. I don't really have an explanation. Well, I guess I don't have a good explanation for it. Trevor and the Jags are struggling big time. I don't have a new or, epiphany of an explanation. They just turn the ball over too much. I mean, more total yards, more yards per throw, more rushing yards than the Texans. Like, in every, important stat category, they were the better football team.
Yeah.
Except for turnovers. 2 turnovers, can't have them. I don't really know what you do here. The offensive line's not very good, and that's kind of hurrying up Trevor a little bit, and that's kind of what's leading to the inefficiencies in the offense. Maybe I thought this was a possible number 1 seed with the weak schedule. They're going to have a quarterback advantage in like every game they play because their schedule's really, really weak. They get a good pass rush, but I don't know.
I mean, it's just like they have the pieces, and it's all there, and
they're running the football well. I don't have.
You just can't. It's hard to put your finger on it. We're going to need to see more. Now, could this be a situation like a Cincinnati when they went to the Super Bowl? Where they start pretty slow. The first 5-6 weeks of the season are a little bit sluggish, but then they really turn it up and turn it on. I think because it's different for them, for the Jags, in the sense where there's not like a glaring issue that 100% needs fixed today. Like, I feel like it's more of like a gel chemistry type thing.
Well, also
where these things could kind of work themselves out over the course of a season.
Right, and Tennessee's 1-2, Houston's 1-2. Yes, Indianapolis is 2-1, but I don't think anybody thinks Indianapolis is actually winning that division, right? So, they have some time to figure it out, where they can be 3-5 and still go ahead and win 10 games and win the division. Like they could be okay.
I mean, the AFC South is open for the taking all the time. So
right. Hit number 3 here, actually going to Indianapolis. Gardner freaking Minshew, baby. I know he's not flashy. I know he's not great. He's not super mobile. He's not very big.
But damn it if he doesn't get the job done.
But damn it, he makes some nice throws. I'll tell you what, he's a really serviceable NFL quarterback. I'd take him over Justin Fields. I wouldn't build around him, but I think he could be a bridge guy for sure. I think on any given Sunday, Gardner Minshew can 100% be a top 25 quarterback and lead you to a victory with a Shane Steichen level coach and some decent enough guys around him, good offensive line. He can 100%. I mean, he went on the road in the rain and beat Lamar and the Ravens. Wildly impressive. I said it when him and Baker were coming out. They're the same guy. And Baker couldn't even win at home in the rain. So, and they were both playing good teams. So you tell me.
Freaking Gardner Minshew won at M&T Bank Stadium in the rain in Baltimore. Not to mention, let's also throw in the fact and not forget about when Jalen Hurts went down and Gardner Minshew stepped in, there wasn't that much drop-off.
No, Gardner Minshew's a good quarterback.
He was able to keep pace.
He's not a franchise guy, but he's a good quarterback.
No, but if he's your backup, you're in a good spot.
I also might be slightly biased because since he beat the Ravens, the Steelers are actually in first place. What's up?
Which is insane.
Missed number 3 here. I expected Hall of Fame coach. Defense was good last year. Quarterback who was a Hall of Fame level player in Seattle. I figured they'd kind of, piece it together, figure it out. Denver is terrible.
They're really bad.
They're terrible. I don't know how you have a Hall of Fame coach, 100-plus pass rating quarterback the previous 6 years, as opposed, outside of last year. Defense that was top 7 last year, and all of a sudden you suck so bad where you get 70 hung on you. I don't.
So is this? I think this is kind of both here. The Broncos are really bad, but also Miami is like one of the best offenses in the league.
I think it has a chance to break the record for for the best scoring offense in league history. It's that good.
It's really good.
Is Mike McDaniel the best coach in football right now? As of right now, I'm not talking full pedigree. I'm talking right now, today.
Going into
who
week
would
4,
you want? Who would you want calling your plays and just play design play calls?
I mean, he makes a hell of an argument. I'll tell you. I saw the post-game locker room speech too.
Yeah.
He's cool. He talks to those guys he almost stays on the same level as them instead of being the coach that comes in, screams in your ear, and gets on you.
I saw a meme. It was like Mike McDaniels runs his team like he's the coach's son, and his dad's on vacation, and he's just holding down the fort.
Yeah,
he's just like a cool guy. He's just. I don't know. It works out. It works for that team. I think it really works for Tua, who needs some support, needs somebody to put his arms around, put their arms around him. And he's getting that support. And God, they're so good.
And look,
they're so fast.
And we said it. When Tua's healthy, that is a damn good offense.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Now, if Tua can stay healthy all season, this, like you said, has the chance to be probably one of the highest scoring offenses in all time.
I would agree. I think they if he stays healthy, I think they break the record.
Fair enough.
We'll see.
I mean, it definitely looks that way. It looks to be shaping up.
We'll see.
Either way, guys, on the other side of the break, it is prediction time for Week 4 in the NFL, bringing you every single game, both of our picks, our splits, who's going to win Week 4, and then, of course, bets on a budget to finish out the second segment. All coming at you next.
We're back, segment 2 on a Thursday, going into Week 4 of the NFL season. We reviewed a little bit of Week 3 in the last segment. Go back and watch that if you haven't. We got a standalone video up. Go rewind this video if you're on the main episode. We appreciate you guys watching however you are. We got Amazon and iHeart and Spotify and Apple. I mean, anywhere. It's probably harder to not find us than it is to find us, I would say. Yeah, I mean, you could accidentally bump into us, so it's really not challenging. So, we appreciate you stopping by however you are. Share it, like it, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a great couple of weeks here getting into the NFL season. This is one of my favorite segments. I know it's one of yours too, of being able to go through, predict all the games every single week and really get into the prediction battle. And just to refresh before we get into it, I am up to 1. And then, of course, we go to the actual picks, the individual game picks for the tiebreaker, just in case we should end 9-9. So I also lead in that 5-4. Pretty good. I like it. It feels good.
We'll see.
I mean, we're tied right now.
It's early,
This is the rubber match year. So if I can jump out and get another lead on you going into next season, it's going to feel good. It's going to feel great.
Nah, I got this. It's in the bag at this point.
All right. So let's just get right into it. We have predictions for Week 4 of the NFL. Every game, every pick. Here we go.
All right, starting with tonight's game, the Thursday night game, obviously the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. Look, I do like the Packers being at home in prime time. They don't lose a lot of those games, but I do think Detroit's a better football team. They're favored by 1.5 for a reason. I think when you simplify predictions, who has the better quarterback? I think Jared Goff's a better quarterback. Yes, Jordan Love had a good fourth quarter, but it was 17-0 going into the fourth, right? Like, we know that the Lions are a better offense. And their defense has actually been playing a lot better as well. Held Atlanta to 6 points, so I'll go ahead and take Detroit.
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions here. Like you said, do I think that Jordan Love is a good enough quarterback to win in this league? Absolutely. But when you're outmatched at the quarterback position, it was evident that he didn't have it and didn't have what it takes.
Right. Well, and also they're banged up. Aaron Jones is hurt. Christian Watson's hurt. David Bakhtiari's hurt.
Which means
are they even going to be healthy enough? You know, I don't know. A couple game time decisions, so we'll see. Okay, Atlanta at Jacksonville. And I know a lot of people are fading Jacksonville, given that they just got crushed by Houston. But I do think Jacksonville's the decider. I think they're a better football team. I get a better quarterback. I get a better offense, right? More talent on the edge. And I do think they get after the passer, a lot better. So if you can make Desmond Ridder uncomfortable, I think the Jags win the football game.
Yeah, and it's in London, so it's like neutral field.
Is it really? Wow, how about it? Yeah.
First London game of the
year. Yeah.
9 a.m., so if you wake up nice and early, you can catch that one.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
9:30 in the morning? That's gross. So Scott Hansen, no, he can't start that early because he can't have one game on.
Right.
That's dumb.
So I'm sure you'll see like a lot of highlights from it throughout the day on Red Zone. But look, Jacksonville's going to win this game. I'm not a big fan of Atlanta. We've always kind of had a negative.
Every time I pick them or bet them, they screw me.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not picking Atlanta here, and I mean, Trevor Lawrence and the Jags have to find it and turn it around at some point. I'm thinking this is the week.
Fair point. Maybe in a different country, it'll help them turn it around. Washington at Philadelphia. We saw Washington kind of get exposed against a really, really good team in Buffalo. Now, I don't think Philadelphia is as good as Buffalo, but I think they're a really, really good team. They're going to be able to run the football, good front seven. Sam Howell threw, 4 picks against Buffalo? I think he throws probably 2 more against Philly. I'll take Philly by a touchdown or 2.
Yeah, this is one of the ones. I think the line's at 8.5, 9, something like that.
7.5 right now. It'll probably be bet up to 8.5, 9.
Yeah, and honestly, I would probably take those points. I would bet that, and for Philly to cover. I just don't think Washington has any of the firepower to compete with the Philadelphia Eagles team at this point.
I would agree. Buccaneers at the Saints, our first split. We went back and forth. I leaned Saints because we saw what they did, defensively against Brady. Brady had a really tough time against the Saints, so I'm thinking, okay, well, it's a lot of the same players in Tampa, a lot of the same schemes. The Saints are probably going to respond the same and kind of stop that offense, stymie that offense. But at the end of the day, I don't know if Derek Carr is going to play. If it's Jameis Winston, I'm taking the better quarterback in Baker Mayfield. And so I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to take Baker Mayfield. I'm going to take the Bucs. Look, good, competent quarterbacks coming off a bad loss usually rebound really, really well. So I'm going to take the chance that Baker, as a competent quarterback, good weapons, they're going to rebound. It's going to be inside. You don't have to worry about the rain. It's going to be in a dome. I will take the Bucs to win by a field goal over the Saints.
In my heart of hearts, I can't pick Baker Mayfield here. Like you said, with the defense in New Orleans, I like that against the Tampa Bay. And look, if Derek Carr can play, I'll take Derek Carr over Baker. But even Jameis Winston and Baker, it's close.
Don't do that to Baker.
It's closer than you would think.
Don't do that.
It's closer than you would think, and you know it too. We've always said Jameis Winston's one of the better bridge guys in the league.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Then I saw the fourth quarter this past weekend.
Sure.
All right, Bengals at the Titans. You're going to go ahead and take the Bengals. I'm going to actually take the upset of the week. I'm going to take Tennessee, coming off a tough loss last week.
Got the boys down in Nashville, huh?
Yeah, Tennessee always plays Cincinnati tough. They beat them in the playoffs, a couple years ago. They always play not the playoffs, the regular season a couple years ago. The Titans always play the Bengals tough. They're going to be able to run the football. The Bengals' offense has not looked good. Point blank, they have not looked good. I think Tennessee kind of possessions their way to victory here, wins an ugly one, like a 10-6 type ball game. Wins close, wins ugly. I'll take the under, and I'll take the Titans.
Give me the Cincinnati Bengals. They started to figure out a little bit at the end of the game on Monday night.
Not to mention short week for Cincinnati, just throwing that out there.
Yeah, it is, which is slightly a concern. But I think they're finally starting to get their feet underneath of them, and I think Joe Burrow is starting to make some good reads. I mean, I didn't love what I saw early on Monday night, but as the game progressed, as it went on, they started to figure some things out. Like you mentioned before we started, Jamar Chase finally getting back on the right side of things here.
12 for 141.
So I'm taking the Bengals. They have to be better.
All right, Rams at the Colts. We're both going to go ahead and take the Rams. Actually, we're both kind of surprised the Colts are favored by 1.5 points.
Yeah,
I think the
what
Rams
is
are a better
that?
team. Yeah, I think the Rams have a better front seven. I think the Rams have a better offense, better quarterback, better weapons, very, very good run game. So, yeah, I think the Rams are the side here. I think they're a much better football team. Going on the road, a little bit concerning. It's a cross-country flight, but I do take the Rams to win.
So are we a little preview for bets on a budget then?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think like that's one of the
I think they're a
lines you
much
have to
better
have.
football team, yeah.
I think so. There's no way the Rams lose to the
I don't
Colts,
think so.
right?
Yeah, I don't think so. Vikings at the Panthers. Look, 2 0-3 teams. Seem fairly lifeless, but let's be real here. The Vikings are the better football team, better quarterback, better weapons. You could argue coach. I think a more creative coach in Kevin O'Connell for sure. I'll take the Vikings.
Yeah, I don't like the Panthers. I think they are one of the worst teams in the league. They are definitely one of the most boring teams in the league to watch.
Especially when Andy Dalton starts last week. That was rough to watch.
The Red Rifle. He was actually pretty good, though.
The Red Rifle. The beige water pistol.
At the end of the day, I just can't, in good faith, pick the Carolina Panthers here. And I think Kirk Cousins and the Vikings are probably one of the most
They have to win at some
undervalued
point.
0-3 team. Yeah, and they're due for a win. This is the Vikings week. Give me Minnesota.
Dolphins at the Bills. Dolphins coming off a 70-20 win over Denver. They're actually 2.5-point dogs going to Buffalo. And I'm going to go ahead and swallow the points and take Buffalo. I think they're a better football team in terms of entire roster. I think defensively they're going to be able to do a lot of things to slow down
I was going to say, I'm
the
worried
Dolphins.
about the pass rush.
Yeah, the pass rush is exactly why I think they're going to be able to get to Tua. And we know Tua, with time, might be the best quarterback in football right now.
Yeah.
There's an argument that, well, at least statistically, I know Mahomes is, a better, more talented quarterback, but there's an argument that within this system, upright, with no pressure, Tua is the best quarterback in football. But I don't think that's going to be the case this weekend. I think he'd be picking himself off the turf a lot. I'll take the Bills to win. Pass rush, Josh Allen does just enough, doesn't turn the ball over. Bills win by 3.
While you make some good points, but I know you saw it, and I saw it, and everybody else in America saw it, watching the Dolphins hang 70 on the Broncos.
It's a good offense, really entertaining.
It's a great offense, and against supposedly a pretty good defense in Denver. Now, we haven't seen it this year.
They suck.
But either
Sam
way,
Howell hung 35
if
on
you score 70 points in an NFL football game, that's special. And I just the inconsistency of Josh Allen recently concerns me, and I think Tua's played better football. I'm going to take the Dolphins.
Fair enough. Ravens at the Browns. We're both going to go ahead and take the Ravens here. I think I get the better quarterback. I think I get a more stable franchise, a better coach, better offensive line. So I'll go ahead and take the Ravens.
Yeah, I don't think Deshaun turns it around anytime soon.
No, he's not very good.
Not at all.
Steelers at the Texans. I'll take the Steelers with the momentum. Kenny Pickett first 2-touchdown game this past week in Vegas.
Pretty nice.
Kenny 2 gloves. I like him to go ahead and lead them to victory. I do worry a little bit about the secondary against C.J. Stroud, who, although may have his limitations physically, is a very professional quarterback, can distribute the ball accurately. So I do worry about our secondary. I think it has the chance to kind of be a little bit of a shootout. Not what the Steelers want, but I do think they win by a field goal, which is exactly what they're favored by.
My thing is, I don't think C.J. Stroud has ever seen a pass rush and a defensive front like Pittsburgh has, though.
Fair. It's a good
so
front.
I think T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith.
Tomlin against rookie quarterbacks is also elite.
Yeah.
Throw that out there.
That's another thing you have to look at. I like C.J. Stroud. He's played really good this year. I don't think he has it in the tank to beat a very experienced Pittsburgh defense. You got some new guys on the back end, but of course, everybody up front's pretty experienced. They got the guys, and I think Pittsburgh's offense is finally starting to figure it out. Matt Canada had somewhat of a good play call this last week, it seemed like, and things have definitely improved a little bit. Now, I don't want to speak too early and have him shoot himself in the foot this week, but
probably will.
I think they're playing better. I'm going to take the Steelers.
Denver at Chicago. I almost picked Chicago here. Look, I don't like Justin Fields, but he's so physically gifted that at some point he's going to have at least one game where he just runs rampant, right? He'll luck himself into a touchdown or two through the air, and he'll like run another two in because he's just so physically gifted. But I cannot. I just can't do it. I don't have the stomach to actually think he's going to be good.
Not after what you said last week and to start the show this
week. I
week.
know he's going to have one good game this year. I know it. Like, he's too talented to not have at least one game, and I'm going to hear about it from everybody on YouTube, and that's fine. I don't know when it's going to come. I have a feeling it might be this week, but I can't predict it. I just can't.
Yeah, it's just going to have to be one of those
things. I'm taking
the
Broncos.
It's going to have to be one of those things that like you get surprised by and then have to put it in misses and hits and misses.
I trust Sean Payton and Russell Wilson to turn it around more than I do Matt Eberflus and Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Raiders at the Chargers. Chargers are a better team. I get a better quarterback. I get better weapons. I get a better, maybe not better head coach. Well, they're both pretty bad.
They're both bad.
They're both bad, so I'll take the better quarterback, Justin Herbert.
As you said, Brandon Staley almost lost the game for them this last week. Yeah. So, I mean, the decisions on both sides of the football aren't great. But when it comes down to the Chargers and Raiders, I'm going Chargers.
Patriots at the Cowboys. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cowboys.
Better
I know that. I didn't know they didn't look good, but like, who's scoring for New England? That's my problem. Like, who's getting in the end zone?
Nobody.
People are like, well, what about Arizona? Rondale Moore, James Conner, and Josh Dobbs would all start for New England. Like, they're all significantly better than anybody New England has. So, like, Arizona might have flaws, but there's better offense than New England, without a doubt.
Oh, I agree.
Arizona at the San Francisco 49ers. I'll take the Niners.
This isn't really something we even have to discuss.
This might be my favorite bet of the week, and it's a 2-touchdown spread.
Yeah, the Niners are going to absolutely roll them. It's not going to be close.
Yeah, Chiefs at the Jets. The Chiefs, that's another spread that I just absolutely love. Chiefs favored by 9.5.
The end of these predictions are wrapping up quickly.
Yeah, because these are like no-brainers.
I mean, the 49ers and Chiefs. I mean, come on.
Yeah, those are no-brainers. Seattle traveling to New York. So, again, cross-country, but it is Monday. It's a night game, so it shouldn't be too much of a factor. Yeah, so the Seattle at the Giants. I'm going to go ahead and take Seattle. Coaching, but I take a better defensive coach against a shaky quarterback situation in Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Can they get Daniel Jones to turn the ball over? I think they can. If they can, they will win. Run the football, turn Daniel Jones over. It's a better football team.
I like Seattle here. It's just I do not like the Giants at all. No, I don't trust them. It wouldn't surprise me if they come out and they just get blanked and don't have a first down till the second half.
Their offensive line's terrible.
That's the type of team that we're getting here in New York. So I'm not picking them. I'm going Seattle to win on Monday Night Football.
All right, we got our splits. I'm taking Baker and the Bucs. You're taking the Saints. I'm taking the Titans upset of the week over Cincinnati. They have their number in recent years. And the Bills over Miami. The Bills being at home. Miami kind of maybe in a bit of a lull after a fantastic performance. Maybe they feeling themselves a little bit. I'll take the Bills at home.
All right, love it. It is that time. Bets on a budget. We give you 5 bets every single week. The best bets for the money and the value that you can possibly get. Here we go. Let's get it started.
All right, let's get it. 2 straight winning weeks. We're 4-1 in week 2, 3-2. Last week, we are +1 on the year. Let's look to build on that. Let's start with bet number 1 here. The Los Angeles Rams at the Indianapolis Colts. They are 1.5-point dogs. To me, that seems like a no-brainer. I get a better quarterback. Look, and I know I got off my, I was on my soapbox about Gardner Minshew. Yeah. Well, let's be real. Matt Stafford with time to throw is a ridiculously talented quarterback. He's the better quarterback. You could argue better weapons. Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson. Not great, but a very, very good receiving core.
Yeah.
And it begs the question, once Cooper Kupp gets back, that's a really, really nice. Like if Puka Nacua is your 2, Tutu's your 3, Van Jefferson's your 4, that's a really, really nice receiving core.
Absolutely.
But either way, I think I get a better quarterback, better coach.
Yeah.
You could argue better receiving core. I think they're the better football team. On the road or not, I think they're a better team. Getting a 1.5, I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I was kind of confused when we were doing predictions and we saw that line because we were going to take the Rams all day and the
I'm taking the Rams to win outright.
Yeah, and the Colts being favored is ridiculous to me. I mean, you have a rookie quarterback.
Well, and that's if he even plays.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, look, I don't know.
You either have a rookie or a backup. And like I said, I like Gardner.
I don't like
he's a
either
backup.
of the two options against a Matt Stafford, who is, who won a Super Bowl with the Rams.
Yeah, and Aaron Donald can still get after the quarterback with the best of them.
It's going to be a lot of pressure.
All right, well, somebody that we also both have winning outright, Baltimore plus 2.5 at Cleveland. I do worry a little bit because their left tackle, Ronnie Stanley's out. Well, probably going to be out. And Cleveland, obviously with Myles Garrett, can get after the passer. Zadarius Smith as well. So that is a concern, but I think Baltimore's going to be able to run the football. This is kind of one of those games where you're going to have to say, hey, Lamar, go be special, right? Run the football a ton. I think he will. I don't know what his prop bet is for, his rushing yards. I would bet over on that as well. Baltimore plus 2.5 to me feels like free money. I think they're the better football team. I get a better coach. I get a better quarterback. I'll take Baltimore plus 2.5.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think Lamar is going to be able to move and be special enough to kind of evade that rush from a Myles Garrett. He doesn't have the speed that a TJ Watt or like a Micah Parsons has coming off the edge. I mean, for sure, he's a good pass rusher, great pass rusher, and he can get to the quarterback. But when you're talking about and you're comparing different ends like that, I think he doesn't have the most amount of speed, and I think that's going to play into Lamar's favor where he can kind of escape a little bit.
Well, so, obviously we've been doing this for, 3 years now?
Yeah.
We made this pivot, I don't know, probably a year and a half ago. Don't overthink it. Who is the better quarterback? In predictions and bets, whatever the case may be, who's the better quarterback? 90% of the time, that hits.
Deshaun or Lamar? I'm taking Lamar.
Lamar, absolutely. The same thing here goes with San Francisco at Arizona. Now, I know it's a big spread, minus 14, but San Francisco, I mean, what? So they beat the Giants by 18. They beat Pittsburgh by, a gazillion. They've been winning. They beat the Rams by a touchdown, who I think the Rams are a much better team than Arizona. They have been blowing teams out. I think the trend continues. I think it's a 17-point game. I do worry. That's a really big spread, but I think they're a much better football team than Arizona. Arizona's feeling themselves. They beat the what as many people had as the best team in football in Dallas, right? To me, this is a trap game. San Francisco beats Arizona by a lot.
Yeah, they're going to really curb stomp them, I think.
And it's been the year of big favorites. I don't think we've missed on a big favorite yet.
No, we haven't. And I don't think this is going to be the first one either, because I could see this one getting out of hand really quickly. I could.
It's a coaching mismatch. It's a line play mismatch, quarterback mismatch, weapons mismatch.
You go through the team on Arizona, and it's tough to find really good players. But then in San Francisco, they almost have the best player at every position.
How many guys from Arizona would start in San Francisco? Are there any?
No.
Maybe probably Budda Baker, their safety, would probably start. Even then, that'd be close.
That'd be a battle.
San Fran still has good safeties. James Conner would see playing time, but he's not starting over McCaffrey.
He'd be a running back
the two.
Yeah. You
could argue Rondale Moore would be wide receiver 3 and get a good amount of touches.
Maybe 4 on that offense.
I don't know who's starting. You know what I mean? It's a much better roster.
Yeah.
All right, Kansas City, minus 9.5 at the New York Football Jets. And the story isn't about Kansas City's offense. They're going to put up points, yes. That's definitely a factor. My thing is, though, Kansas City's defense has been locked down this year. They're young, they're cheap, and they are flying around. It's Chris Jones and a bunch of kids that fly around, gang tackle, make really nice plays. Hyper-athletic defense. They held the Bears to 10 points.
And they scored 41.
Then they held the Prince and company to 9 points. They held offensively, the Lions to only 2 touchdowns in week 1. So their defense can play with the best of them.
Yeah.
I think they hold the Giants under 14 points. I'll take them to score, at least 21.
Or the Jets, right?
Or Jets, sorry, the Jets. They'll hold the Jets under, 14 points. I like them to score at least 28. So I mean that's plenty enough to cover the spread.
Well, yeah, and plus I don't see the Jets scoring many points at all, no matter who they're playing, because their offense is just so bad.
Zach Wilson? Zach Wilson's not good.
No, and if it comes down to if they're going to be able to keep pace with Kansas City, that's just not going to happen.
No, you can see the sideline also unraveling as well. People yelling at coaches, yelling at Zach. It's not good.
Oh, they're pissed in New York.
Not a good
situation. Fans are pissed, too.
And that's even without Aaron Rodgers. Imagine how prickly the situation would be if it was Aaron and they were still losing. It'd be rough.
It'd be bad.
All right, finally, let's close with our third dog of the week here. Seattle plus 1.5 on Monday Night Football at the New York Giants. We both have Seattle winning outright. I still think that's true. Again, better quarterback. I don't think a better coach, but in terms of matchup and scheme, right? You get a young, fast, athletic defense with a defensive coach playing against Daniel Jones, that matchup is not favorable for the Giants. It is favorable for Seattle. I think Seattle wins by 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think they do hold it fairly close, but I think Seattle's a better football team overall.
Yeah. I could see maybe like a touchdown game, but
I think that'd be fair.
It's not going to get out of hand. I think both of them are kind of evenly matched, but I mean at the same time, you have to be able to sit and realize that Seattle's the better team.
Right. Well, and the front seven for the Giants is good enough to keep it close. But it
really
Seattle,
falls apart after that.
Seattle's better team.
Yeah. Take us back through.
All right. The Rams plus a 1.5 at Indianapolis. Baltimore plus 2.5 at Cleveland. San Francisco minus 14 against Arizona, taking the big favorite. Another big favorite in Kansas City minus 9.5 at the Jets. And finally, Seattle plus a 1.5 Monday Night Football at the New York Football Giants.
Love them. Should be another great week. We have
another winning week. I can feel it.
Yeah, we had 2 winning weeks in a row, going for 3 here. I mean, getting hot. Catching a little
money,
bit of
I'll tell you what.
Absolutely. Bets on a budget is always a good time. So, guys, go check those out on whatever sports book you use. DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Barstool Sportsbook, Rivers Casino Sportsbook. It doesn't matter. Go check them out.
They have an app
this
now?
week. Yeah, they do.
Interesting. I might start using that.
Yeah, the Bet Rivers app. A little shout out. No, this isn't sponsored at all, but
Interesting.
Maybe you should. Rivers, what's up?
Shout out Rivers.
Either way, that was Bets on a Budget. When we come back, we will have the news. A lot of stuff happening around the NFL. A lot of Swifties getting involved in the NFL.
Oh, God.
And Kansas City, we'll talk about that. And, of course, Game of the Week to round out the show. Don't go anywhere. Let's go. Third segment. It's going to be a good one here on Thursday, September 28th, episode 205. We got the news to get to you first, and then the game of the week to round things out here on the show. But guys, if you haven't yet, go check out theissuesports.com. Whether you're new, whether it's your 80th time watching, doesn't matter. Go check out theissuesports.com. Always new stuff over there. You can go subscribe to the newsletter while you're there. Right on the homepage, just type the email in, click sign up, and then accept it when it comes over to the inbox, and you will receive the newsletters every single Wednesday when they come out. But until then, follow the Instagram, follow the YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all of it. All the social media links are right there on the website and in the description of the episode. But we appreciate you guys being here on this beautiful Thursday in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. Love a good, I don't know, what is it, like 60? It's getting to fall. I like fall better than summer. So.
We haven't had one of your weather check-ins in a long time. It's been a while.
I just like fall so much better.
Yeah, it is.
Significantly better. It's my favorite season. Summer is like my third favorite. I'm not a huge summer
Third
guy.
favorite?
Yeah, no.
So you're a fall then what?
Spring, for sure, yeah.
Fall then spring?
Oh, yeah.
You take spring over summer?
Yeah.
So you still take...
Summer's so overrated. So overrated.
I don't know, man.
We have this bias because we're like, ooh, school's out, from the time we were 5 years old until 18, or even through college, like 21, 22, where it was like better in the summer because you didn't have to go to school. But like objectively speaking, school aside, because most people aren't in school anymore, not that good of a season.
I enjoy being able to go outside and be comfortable and just be in shorts and a t-shirt.
That's the thing. It's so not comfortable. I'm way more comfortable in the fall and the spring.
I'm more.
Let me just go outside and just drip for no reason.
You got to
let me just drip.
In the spring, man. In the spring, we still get snow sometimes.
Faucet.
We get snow. Right. We get some of that sleet stuff. It's never a good time. Anyway, let's get into the news here. Enough with the weather. We got a lot of stories to get to.
All right, story number 1. T-Swizzle, Taylor Swift, and Travis Kelce are somewhat confirmed. I can't believe we're talking about this.
Yes, the hard-hitting news.
On a real sports show. But it's at least interesting. Look, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate if it works out or not. I don't even know how serious they are. But his jersey sales are already up 400%. Genius in terms of business, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And I wonder
if they were doing this before.
Not that she needs anybody, more fans, but, she's going to get more fans from this. It's good on both sides. I think he's going to benefit more than her, but, still, good on both sides, even if it is just, a business ploy.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either, but I think maybe the timing could be. Because, what are the chances that he just started hitting her up during the season? Right? He's so busy right now. What if this started in the summer?
I bet
and
it started right before. And they're
season, how about we announce this at the start of football season? That way it gets more traction for the both of us.
It's interesting. Look, I'll tell you what. The video of her talking to Mama Kelsey, like, imagine being, what is it, Donna Kelsey? I think the Mrs.
dude.
Kelsey. Imagine that.
You're just sitting.
You're just like chilling with Taylor Swift.
Who's dating your son though?
That's wild.
That's insane.
That's. I don't know. That might be the most entertaining family in sports.
Yeah,
the Kelsey family.
Right now, absolutely. And
honorary member T Swift.
I gotta say, he's not holding the hand walking out though. I saw like these breakdowns on TikTok. It's been everywhere. So like the video
I
of them
wouldn't
walking
either.
out,
That's like the step too
and
far.
then
I think.
saw them in the car driving away after they. Did you see that in the convertible?
Yeah.
He has the arm out the window and the other hand on the wheel. If anything, you got to reverse that. The other arm's got to go over to Taylor, and you got to put the left hand on the wheel.
Yeah, but I don't think they want to give off the vibe that they're like super serious yet. Like I think they're still casual, and I think I'm going to hold somebody's hand if it's casual.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Give it it's Taylor Swift. You shoot your shot. Come on now.
That's valid. Can't come off desperate. My man T Swizzle's playing the long game, or my man T Kelsey's playing the long game.
Yeah,
T
Kels and T Swizz. I like it.
Yeah, it's perfect. All right, story number 2 here. Colorado goes up to Oregon, which we kind of expected, and they get waxed 42-6. Was never competitive. It was actually 42-0 at one point. If it wasn't for a garbage time touchdown, Colorado would have been shut out. Look, they're not built to win that football game. They're not built in the trend. Oregon's been a recruiting machine for 15 years, right? Like, since, I don't even know, Jeremiah Masoli, that's like early 2000s for those who watched early 2000s football. Like, they've been, Dennis Dixon was like a stud there. Like, they've been a recruiting power for years. And Colorado's been a recruiting power for 3 months, 4 months. Like, it's not the same. They're not built to go up there and compete with that depth, that offensive line, that defensive line. That's an NFL quarterback. Those are NFL receivers. Like, Colorado's never had a shot, especially without Travis Hunter.
Plus, like, can we have some like awareness as Colorado? Because like, I understand there's a lot of hype around you this season, but you go into the Autzen Zoo talking that much. I mean, bad things are
walking
just
on
going
the logo.
to happen. Walking on the logo, stomping on the logo.
What are you doing?
Chirping at people while they're warming up, laughing at them. Dude, you just got embarrassed, and now you're about to get embarrassed again against USC this week.
I'm actually really surprised that Fox Big Noon Sunday is still going to that game.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be they're screwed.
They're going to get...
They have no chance.
Absolutely
no
crushed.
chance. That's a 28-point game, at least.
It's going to get ugly.
At least. I do think Oregon's better than USC, so I think they have a chance to keep it a little bit closer, but...
I mean, at the end of the day...
Not much.
I like...
Caleb Boone's going to throw for over-under 375 yards. I'm going over.
Yeah.
I don't know what his actual over-under is. It's probably like 310 or something.
But over on that, obviously. Yeah.
Story number 3 here, Mike Williams, receiver for the Chargers, out with a torn ACL, out for the entire year. That's like a big story. That's a big part of it. I think the bigger underlying story here is now you're going to see Quentin Johnson, the rookie from TCU. He's going to have to be wide receiver 2. He's going to have to step up. Can he do it? I don't know. He's going to have to be that big, physical, go up and get it type guy like Mike Williams was. Very similar body type between the two of them, so he's going to have to fill that role. Can he do it? I think he can. I think he's really talented. He's got good hands. I think he runs a little bit smoother than Mike Williams, so I'm very interested to see.
I think one of the big factors that's going to help him too is, you have Justin Herbert throwing you the football. Having a great quarterback like that's really going to at least supplement there. But you have to be able to carry your weight. Like, you can't be the reason that this team isn't going to win now.
Right. Well, I'm not going to equate Brady to Herbert, but there is a similarity in terms of great quarterbacks in general. Brady always did this who's Chris Hogan? I don't know. He was a D3 lacrosse player at one point.
And they elevate them, yeah.
Yeah, and he was a big part of a Super Bowl run. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, obviously, Quentin Johnston's a first-round pick. But, with Herbert, he's going to be able to elevate almost who anybody's throwing the ball to. Look, who was Mahomes' receiving core when they won the Super Bowl? Sky Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kadarius Toney, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Come on, let's be real here. It's he's able to elevate them. I think Herbert could elevate Quentin Johnston.
I think so, too, as long as the Brandon Staley can get out of the way.
Well, we'll see.
A little bit, huh?
We'll see. They were featured in our game of the week last week. They end up beating Minnesota. Their keys to victory actually ended up coming to fruition a little bit, and they end up getting the win on the road. So let's transition into the game of the week for this week. The Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. So Miami obviously 3-0 going into the week. I don't want to say consensus, but a lot of people have them as the number one team in football.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair point. I think there's an argument that they're the best coach team right now. I don't think there's an argument at all that it's the best offense. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I mean, they were missing Jalen Waddle, and they put up 70. Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Tua has been upright, and we know when he's upright, he's really good. He's been even better than expected. So, with all that being said, they're 2.5-point dogs going into Buffalo. I think that's, first of all, a tip of the cap to the environment that is in Buffalo. That's a tip of the cap to the quarterback that Josh Allen is and can be when he's not making mistakes. That's a tip of the cap to how good that defense has been, being able to shut down Washington, which, yeah, I know you're like, oh, it's Washington. Well, they put up 35 against Denver. Now, we can see that Denver isn't very good, but nonetheless, it's an NFL offense, and they've been really, really good. So, it's interesting. So let's go over the keys to victory here, and then I'll kind of talk about who I like in the game and why. Okay. Let's go over Miami's keys to victory. I think on offense, you have to establish the run. And this goes back to keeping Tua upright. If Tua has to drop back 45 times against that pass rush and against that secondary, it's not going to be pretty, right? You have to establish the run, much like they did against Denver.
You have to be dynamic on both sides of the ball here. And you can't be a one-dimensional offense going against the Bills, or else, like you said, it's going to get really ugly really quick.
Yeah, so I mean, and they did against Denver. Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, if you can establish that run, and Tua can throw on 2nd and 4, 3rd and 1, you could throw with creativity, with play action, with tempo, with pace. That's where Tua excels, and that's where this entire offense excels. Defensively, I think you got to keep Josh Allen in the pocket. If there is a weakness on the team, without Jalen Ramsey, it is their DBs. Outside of Xavier Howard, I don't love their DBs, and I don't love their linebackers. So in terms of Miami's defense, so if you can keep Josh Allen in the pocket and make him, you got to keep that clock under 4, right? If you can make him get rid of the ball in 4 seconds, that would be a win for you as a defense, right? It's when he gets outside of the pocket, your DBs can cover for 2.5, 3.5 seconds. If they have to cover for 5 seconds, you're screwed, right? He's going to make plays down the field, either with his arm or he's going to stretch you vertically with his leg. So either way, you have to keep him in the pocket, make him make decisive throws. If you can pressure him in the pocket, even better. But don't let him get outside the pocket, extend plays, and be special.
Yeah, we saw 2 weeks ago, we saw the Miami Dolphins defensive line play a lot better and finally start to step up. We saw more of that this past week.
Yeah.
This is going to be the real test, right? Like, you have to be able to get pressure on Josh Allen, and from the edges. You can't let him...
Right, Jalen Phillips, the edge rusher, is going to have to play well.
You can't let him move left or move right. Now, you can kind of afford to let him step up because it's not going to take as much time to let the play develop, but you have to do everything you can to keep him there. You maybe put a spy on him. I don't know what you have to do, but you have to sack Josh Allen a couple of times, and you have to make him feel that pressure, or else he's just going to light you up.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, let's flip the script over to Buffalo, who, yes, they're a favorite, but there's a thing called a public dog. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to put money on Miami, and Buffalo is going to end up being a public dog. So on offense, I would say, pretty simple. Don't turn the ball over. When they don't turn the ball over, they win 80% of their games.
Yeah.
When they don't lose the turnover battle, they win 80 to 85% of their games. So, Josh Allen, don't turn the ball over. That's, you always want to do that, but that seems fairly self-explanatory.
Very important this week, though.
Well, yeah, that offense, you can't give them extra possession. If you give Mike McDaniel and that offense extra possessions, you're screwed.
Point blank. Especially with all the weapons they have.
It's insane. And then on defense, get to Tua. Get to Tua. He's undersized. He can be hurried up. If you can get to Tua, get him on the ground a couple times, especially in that first quarter and then that first half, make him think about that pass rush. Get them off their rhythm, off their timing. It's a very timing and rhythm-based offense. If you can disrupt that timing and rhythm, you can have a lot of success as a defense. New England did that. Now, obviously, New England lost, but they held them to 24 points. If Buffalo holds them to 24 points, they're most likely going to win the football game.
Right, because Josh Allen's going to be able to
I think they're going to put up closer to 30, right? And so if you can keep, Miami under 30, which I think you can if you get to Tua, then you're going to have some success.
Yeah.
So there's your keys to victory. How I see this game going, again, I have what did I take?
You took the Bills. I took the Dolphins.
I took Buffalo. For the reason, I do think they're going to get them off their timing and rhythm, so I'll take Buffalo. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to take Buffalo 31-28 to win close at home. The home field advantage is worth about 2.5 to 3 points, so I think that's going to, come to fruition. They'll win by a field goal.
Okay. I also like a win by a field goal, except I like it on the Miami side, 34-31 Dolphins. I think both of these teams are going to break the 30 mark. I don't know what the over-under is on this game, but I would probably say to take the over. Both offenses are high-flying. I think even though the pass rush in Buffalo is really good and the front four is really good in Buffalo, I still think that Miami's going to have enough juice.
53.5.
Okay, take the over.
I agree.
There's going to be a lot of points scored. Both of these offenses are going to get moving. It's going to be one of those games where it comes down to who can make the first and the last stop. If you can get ahead of it and kind of stay ahead.
Who can play from ahead, right?
Yeah, because I don't see this game being like a big comeback type thing. It's going to be a shootout. Who can step up on defense? That's going to be the big thing.
It's fair. Who makes the extra stop?
Because
I'm interested to see.
Yeah, it's fair enough. This is going to be a divisional matchup for the ages right here.
Definitely the game of the week.
Week
cannot
4.
wait to watch. Can't wait to watch.
What window is that in? 1 o'clock?
The 1 o'clock, yeah.
Okay.
That's the 1 o'clock window right there.
Perfect. The 1 o'clock window has been home to a bunch of good games recently.
Yeah, there's a lot of good games in the 1 o'clock window. Now, granted, these teams are tire fires, but I think Denver-Chicago could be interesting, because they're both really bad.
I mean, they'll at least
I think the
close.
Ravens and the Browns should be interesting. I think the Rams and the Colts are that's going to be a fascinating game, and then the Bengals-Titans as well.
I like it. All right, guys, that is everything we have for you today. So make sure you are going to the website, theissuesports.com, checking out everything over there, everything that we're posting on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. You can find us anywhere. All the links are in the description of the episode or right there on the website. You can find everything. Go check out the merch in the shop. Got a lot of good stuff over there, especially for all you sports bettors. The Pray for the Parlay shirt, the Kenny Two Glove shirt for the Steeler fans. Everything's fully stocked and loaded over there. So, guys, until next week, enjoy week 4 of the NFL. It should be a good one. A lot of good matchups, a lot of good storylines to follow, and we will cover it all here again next Thursday. That was The Issue.